Hey Sagittarius, welcome into your reading. I think I would like to do a general reading for right now and the dates for September the 27th through October the 11th. We have a lot going on with the moon right now, so I thought maybe we'd let it finish out its last little effort on the waxing moon, and as it goes into the first quarter around the 29th. So anyway, I thought maybe pull this reading out a couple of weeks. So, um, yeah, thanks for joining me, and we will get into the reading here and see what Sagittarius looks like. Um, Sagittarius embodies the eternal seeker mood. Their mystic roots lie in Chiron, the immortal centaur, half beast, half sage. Um, He taught heroes like Achilles and Jason, and he was wounded by Heracles. So Chiron chose death to free Prometheus, earning a place among the stars. Thought that's some cool information there. I love Greek mythology. I'll get my face out of the way here so we can see what's going on. Right off the bat, I'm seeing some choices that need to be made. Maybe you're in a situation where you've hit the crossroad of something. It seems to be the dominant energy in this active position. So, what's actively taking place? What else really cool can we read about Sagittarius? They're ruled by Jupiter. Sagittarius channels expansion, optimism, and cosmic law. It's the sign of prophecy where mantras become arrows and rituals become maps. So think Apollo's golden bow. Okay, then we're followed by the Queen of Wands in the passive position. So the Queen of Wands tells me that you're seeking some kind of something that's a little hidden from you right now, maybe a little mysterious, looking into something. Yeah, we've got the Three of Wands in a manifesting position here. So you're manifesting something to look out towards something. But with the Three of Wands in the reverse position, we'll take a look at that on our reveal cards and see. Um, let's see why that Three of Wands shows up here. Delays, frustration, hesitation, missed opportunities, stagnation, resistance, limitations, and obstacles. We're going to keep rocking now, see what's up. So, then it's followed by the Nine of Cups. So, there's a choice that needs to be made, and there's some mystery involved. Queen of Wands, let me read you a little bit about the Queen of Wands because the energies are kind of like, well, I'll just show you here. Let's see. Um, in the imagery of the Queen of Wands, you see the Queen sits on a throne, um, adorned with two lions that are facing each other, and it symbolizes strength, fire, and leadership. And then the sunflower in her left hand reinforces warmth and optimism. So the wand in her right hand is a sign of power and creative force, her ability to manifest her desires. So the black cat at her feet, a mysterious symbol, shows, intuition, independence, and hidden knowledge, suggesting maybe that she has a connection to the magic and the unseen. So she embodies passion, confidence, ambitious, and she naturally attracts admiration. So a choice made towards this Queen of Wands. Um, I don't know, but the Nine of Cups represents kind of this power card here that says, I've got a lot of things underneath my belt. I'm established. Um, Cups could be referring to, water signs, perhaps. Um, but also it kind of is like this energy of temporary. You notice he's sitting on a bench rather than say a throne, for instance, because he knows things are just temporary. And so maybe there was a for instance of where you looked out, um, with the Three of Wands, but something felt very temporary to you. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So we got the Chariot. Um, the Chariot is spiritual awakening. It's enlightenment. His whole outfit here is adorned. He wears this skirt, so to speak, the man skirt. Um, but it's adorned with spirituality. Okay, and his chest plate is adorned with this square on his tunic, which kind of represents he builds with his intuition, with his willpower. Okay, and the Chariot is a definite willpower kind of card, a power card. And it also talks about moving away from materialistic types of views, okay, and taking on more of a spiritual stance towards things, not necessarily religious stances, but spirituality, really looking within. The two Sphinx represent duality, both the light side and the dark side of our self-conscious minds, egos, things like that. So then it's followed by the King of Swords, okay, in the reverse position. And the King of Swords in the reverse talks about an energy of chaos, maybe ego clashes, tyranny, manipulation, that type of thing. But we'll take a look at and see why the King of Swords is showing up here. Let's look at that. Yeah. Dishonesty, intolerance, control, harshness, corruption. Okay. So maybe in the past you were looking at a situation and I don't know, maybe you saw that it was temporary. You're starting to awaken and be enlightened about this situation. Okay, we're gonna keep going, see what it reveals. Sagittarius is the so we have the sun reversed. Okay. Um, in some myths, Crotus, a satyr associated with Sagittarius, lived among the Muses and invented applause to honor their art. This adds a layer of creative joy to it, so Sagittarius celebrates the journey, the song, the story, and the spark of inspiration. So maybe somewhere along the line you've lost your spark, obviously, right? As soon as I say that, the sun is showing in the reverse position. So, however, very logical minded. You're grounding yourself in logic, saying, I'm looking at this situation. This could be talking about the lack of communication. Um, it could be talking about work related, since we are in the Knight of Pentacles, but the Knight talks or has an action of when I make a plan, I stick to it. So it looks like you're following through with the Chariot, maybe really looking into this situation here that's, not such a happy scenario. We're followed by the Tower in the reverse position, so you're putting off a tower, okay? The Tower is the card of illusion. It's the things that, we do see the Chariot here, but it's some things that, you know, you used to believe in, and maybe you don't really necessarily believe in it anymore. So maybe you're studying into, say, esoteric or, maybe a more spiritual side to things, and it's causing some kind of an issue. But with the Knight of Pentacles, you're in your logical mind, and I really like to say, as far as advice, stay out of your mind, especially when delving into the esoteric, because that kind of frees you up to allow for more information to come in without the bias of your own thoughts. So it makes me say maybe somebody's putting off something in that manner. And the reason I say that is because it's followed by the Seven of Wands. Okay, and the Seven of Wands is that warrior spirit. You've had some battles, past traumas, perhaps things that you're working on, and but you're kind of guarded still. You see the wands there that are planted firmly, and victories, so to speak. Wands are victories. Also, wands are fire signs, so we could be talking about some fire sign here. And as far as that goes, we could be talking about air signs as well. So with the swords. But it's followed by the King of Wands energy. Okay, and I got kind of a generic version of the King of Wands, but I'll read to you what the King of Wands represents. He embodies confidence, charisma, and mastery over his creative energy. So there may be some creative blockage taking place too with that. But very determined. He's a manifester. He manifests his ideas into reality. So um, leadership, very determined card. Strength, transformation. His throne is decorated with lions and salamanders, and that it kind of reinforces the theme of fire, courage, and resilience. So, but he's ready to take action. So maybe you're at a point where you're ready to take action. Maybe move out of this situation, or I'm not quite getting a relationship wise yet. Perhaps, like I said, it's maybe you're just delving into the spiritual side of things, and you're moving towards something. So we got the King of Pentacles in the reverse position, and then it's followed by the Four of Swords in the reverse position. Okay, so with the King of Swords in reversed and the King of Pentacles in reversed, yeah, maybe you take action towards this King of Pentacles. Let's look at the King of Pentacles in the reverse, okay, and maybe that'll give us a little idea. I'm thinking that tyrannous, same thing, an imbalanced power struggle, financial mismanagement, maybe. We did see, we do see the Knight of Pentacles showing up. So far I'm just getting like maybe financial wise, work related maybe, but I'm not necessarily seeing relationship, other than we did see the the King of Swords, which talks about this chaos, tyranny, manipulation type energy. But I'm not quite getting. I mean, we do have, maybe this is internal, emotional, and we do see the Four of Swords here, and the Four of Swords in the upright position. You can see the swords on the walls, so these could represent, some emotional wounding that took place, or it could also talk about maybe some actions towards some things that you've done, and so then it's followed by the Three of Swords in the reverse position. So um, the Three of Swords in the reverse position is kind of like a healing state of mind, and also the Four of Swords being the same kind of scenario, being a rest, recovery, rejuvenate. Excuse me, that's coffee. And yeah, so we'll look at the Four of Swords in the reverse position too, because maybe it could help us pull out of this what we're trying to say here, what we're trying to find out. So yeah, it has you burned out, mental fatigue, resistance, stress, hesitation, and recovery though as well. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with recovering from something, and the reason I say that is because it was followed right underneath it. It was followed by the Three of Swords in the reverse position too. So we'll look at the Three of Swords as well and see kind of the same healing, recovery. Yeah. So somebody's doing, could be closure on something too. Yeah, I mean, we did see that Knight of Swords, that tyrannous kind of thing, and it's got you upset. But maybe still not quite seeing a picture yet of what's happening, because, like I said, I'm not showing this being a relationship as much as I'm seeing that you're celebrating in the Six of Wands position here. You're celebrating a victory over some emotional wounding, some patterns. So somebody's been doing some deep dives, some shadow work. I'm surprised we haven't seen the moon card show up. Um, yeah, I mean, but I think you're kind of putting something off too. That tower kind of concerns me in the reverse position. because we really want to go ahead and let that tower do what it's got to do. Yeah. You're grounding yourself financially wise. The Queen of Pentacles is she has the awards under her, in her domain. She's very, she's set up, she's grounded, she's got everything together, and financial wise, earth wise, grounded and stability. So I feel like that's what you're really gravitating towards. And I feel like, with the Knight of Pentacles here too as well, this is a grounding position. The fourth cards are grounded positions. So when we see the cup here, it tells me that your boundaries are, right here behind you. That you put your emotional side, your loving side, um, your logical side, focus. Like I said, all these things seem to be in the fourth. Where we're not seeing that is the King of Pentacles again, that showed up in the reverse over here. And since this would be the third turn, I would say that really what we should be focusing on is, why are we hesitating for this tower moment? Why are we putting it off? Maybe it's about moving into a new position of financial stability, but it's also moving into maybe some areas of yourself with the Chariot card here, that maybe you hit like kind of a stone wall temporarily, like you're in a cycle where it's just kind of lingering, taking its time. But this side looks really great. It's a wonderful side to look at. Yeah. So we got Judgment. Judgment is a spiritual awakening as well. Gabriel's blasting the horn, and it's blasting the horn and saying, rise up into your authenticity, rise up into yourself, your perfection, rise up into your art. And I say that, look at the Eight of Pentacles. So rise up into your drawing, or your painting, your hobbies, your habits, the things that you really love. And it's surrounding these two things. They're, your spiritual awakening, your enlightenment, um, and the kind of things that you're just, moving out of this materialistic type view and more into the spiritual side of things. But it's surrounding by the Eight of Wands in the reverse position. So I want to take a look at that Eight of Wands. Why did that show up in the middle of all of those wonderful cards right there? So yeah, just delaying time, maybe a lack of progress. That's kind of what I'm feeling, like this blocked energy, right? You can kind of read on there. You may be able to determine yourself, but that's kind of what I'm seeing, is like, maybe you hit this plateau of learning, in a learning curve, and maybe this it's time for you to you know realize that you've been through the cycle, and maybe a new one has approached you, and it just kind of hit you, kind of tough. I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep going though, because it seems really peaceful to me. Like, um, so where are we at here? Yeah, we've got the Eight of Pentacles, and then we grounding ourselves, prioritizing ourselves, setting our boundaries. Okay, here we go. Now we're kind of talking about relationship wise. So maybe you set a boundary about your relationships, and perhaps maybe you're, looking into maybe creating or starting or entering into a new relationship. And so maybe this might be confirmation as to whether or not you should do this or not. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sagittarius, they don't settle. They aim for the horizon. So, um, I don't know. Philosophically speaking, they are the joy card, right? So maybe you're just questioning whether or not, yeah, whether or not to do this. I mean, I'm seeing the Four of Cups here, right? It's like, uh, I've been focusing on my finances. I've been focusing on my internal emotional self, my spiritual awakening, my enlightenment. I've been um, focused on maybe a new um, a new mystery of some type. You know, instead of seeing the hand that's offering you, excuse me, some kind of an offering here. And since we're refusing to see the offering, maybe that's why the Page of Cups is showing up now. It's like you've had your head down. The Fool card, the Journey card, talks about new beginnings. So, um, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read a little bit about the Fool here for us. So, give me just a second. I want to talk about the Fool. He represents the infinite potential, so the beginning and the end of a journey. Um, he's depicted as this carefree youth, right? And he's walking toward the edge of a cliff with his head held up. Um, so his posture, it suggests like optimism and the willingness, to take a risk. And I kind of feel like maybe that's what this is. It's like you're wondering, do I take a risk towards a relationship? Maybe. Um, but the Fool stepping into the unknown, right? And it's talking about just have faith, trust in the journey. So, he carries the sack over his shoulder, and it has all of his worldly possessions in it. And it talks about, a minimalist life, or, familiarity. So I kind of feel like you're no stranger to this. And maybe all of this deep, internalizing that you've done, and you're just wondering if you're ready for a relationship or not. We got to turn this sun right side up, get some happiness, get some joy. And maybe you're just trying to know whether or not it's safe to move forward. Yeah, you're still in introspection with the Hermit card. Um, so I'm thinking, this is great. I mean, this is it. As a father, talking to my children, I would be like, always remain in your sovereign self. Look, yeah, and it's followed by the Nine of Pentacles. So that's beautiful. You're grounded, and I feel like that is a very mature. There's just this very mature energy that I'm seeing right now. Um, I don't know, Sagittarius, do you want to know if you're wanting a relationship? I'm gonna pull a few more cards. We're gonna go into the manifesting side, this third side. So the Star is the balance, yeah. The Star is, the spiritual side of things, right? She's 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. So it's talking about grounding, um, and the balance in between the two. It's nourishing your spiritual self while you nourish your grounded self. Okay, and it followed by the Moon in the reverse position. So the Moon card, if you notice, in between these two towers, it symbolizes the unknown. Okay, it symbolizes a spiritual awakening, a spiritual enlightenment. It assumes that we will take a step towards our shadow work and work on ourselves internally. So I kind of feel like, that's the bonus here, that you've been doing some work and now you're stepping into the shadow stuff and you're kind of putting it off, which is causing this tower to show up in the reverse position, right? It's like sometimes it's very hard to go back and look at past wounding and things like that. And I just feel like maybe you're carrying over. Um, you know, we'll go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and pull a few more cards. I'm gonna do you that solid, just because I feel like maybe you've I don't know, you're maybe afraid to move forward to find love again, find relationship again. Yeah, and it's showing an imbalance. Yeah, with the Six of Pentacles in the reverse position. So I tell you what, I'm going to put my face right in the screen here again, because I'm like stoked. These are some really cool cards. I apologize for moving this around here. It might make you seasick, right? Motion sickness. No, hey, these cards are great. In fact, I'm just feeling this very mature energy right now. So, um, yeah, Sagittarius. Wow. Temperance, you know, temperance. This is great. You're wondering whether or not to move into a relationship. The only thing I see here is, is like I said, people are afraid with the Tower card. because it just looks so destructive, right? If I go ahead and keep going through this, is everything just going to go to hell in a handbasket, right? Sure, why not? Why not? Right? The only way that we can be truly with our sun card in the upright position is to go ahead and take the tower. I promote that because that's all of your internal work that you're doing, and I've seen it all over the hand everywhere. All the work that you're doing is destroying all those old belief systems that you've had. It's teaching you to trust yourself again, to love again, to find sovereignty. We saw the Queen of Pentacles over here. You talk about sovereignty, right? Established. You've got your head down in your work. You've done that side. You're keeping up with your bills. You're paying this, paying that, and but you're lacking with the. I feel like that's what it is. You're just lacking with the relationship side. Maybe you're afraid to invest back into that again. Because we do see the Pentacles show up, and that is an investment card. You don't want to contract with somebody who's not going to reciprocate, right? But you know what? If you stay in that position forever, then the longer you stay, the more you become, your habit becomes that I'm okay by myself. And I'm seeing with the Page of Cups reversed right there, um, as just kind of a sign that maybe you're fearful of taking on a relationship. And but you know what happens if you find a person that maybe reciprocates with you and can help you through these shadow sides, these shadow aspects. I mean, isn't that part of growing a legacy? Isn't that part of, enjoying, a friendship, even if it's platonic? But I feel like maybe your heart might be kind of reaching out for, we did see this Three of Swords in a reverse position over there on the far right. So maybe a part of you is still you still have some kind of momentum towards relationships. So this is a cool read. I mean, I'm cool with it. I hope you resonate with what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be, you know, the antagonist or nothing like that. I'm just saying that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to love ever. Keep your heart open because you're doing all the internal work. Just take it one day at a time. Sometimes all we can do is rest. Sometimes all we can do is sleep. That's it. I mean, sometimes when we put ourselves into our work so hard, we don't allow ourselves time, to feel anymore. And I kind of feel like maybe you've allowed those things as soon as the pain comes up. Nope, I'm going to go do my work. I'm going to get back into something so I don't feel it. You know, and I can understand deep seated, deep rooted energies that have a tendency to want to keep us stuck, keep us in a place where it's comfortable. Um, but I love you. I want you to break free from that. You know, give yourself a chance to be vulnerable. Give yourself a chance to, even if it's a small little approach, to, maybe beginning to text again to somebody or, open yourself up to, going out and meeting one new person or something, or sharing ideas online with people, however you do it, but open up your vulnerability side and kind of just take a small step, a little breather, and you control that. So, if it feels too heavy, pull back. People will either understand or they won't understand, and it's not your place to help make people understand, right? This is for you, and you came here to be something in your life, and if you want to share it with somebody, then continue to go towards that. That's a beautiful thing. So, Sagittarius, I hope this helped. I hope that you understand. I'm just here to try to help. So I hope any energy in this that you resonated with, you let me know. And anyway, I hope to see you on the next one, though. All right. Bye.